morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, we have scheduled webinar on the 4 P's of public speaking, which has been organized by Applied Science and Humanity Department of Parul Polytechnic Institute of Parul University. The main agenda of this webinar is to know the importance of public speaking, as eventually they will all be working and will need to give presentations, which is needed for our social and personal lives as well. I, Krupa Padarya, would like to introduce today's guest speaker, Tina Walia ma'am. She is the image coach, grooming expert, soft skills trainer, and designer. She has completed her studies in humanities from Caramel Convent School, New Delhi. Being an image consultant, she derives satisfaction from changing the lives of others by helping them look and hence feel their confident best. Her goal as an image consultant is making her comfortable in her own skin, which will help her to perform optimally in all spheres of her life. Her background as a model and experience in a fashion industry, along with her unending passion and training, has given her keen insight into identifying the problems of each individual, offering bespoke solutions to them in their journey towards self-actualization. She empowers women to identify their own ultimate potential so that they bring positive impact in everything they do to succeed in at life. It's a privilege to welcome you here, ma'am, and you can start with the session.
Thank you so much for that very pleasant introduction, and thank you so much for having me here today. And I'm very, very delighted to be amongst so many of your young and talented students. It's an absolute delight. Thank you so much once again. And without wasting too much time, because we're all here for a very short while, let me begin by saying something about today's session. Of course, you did mention that it is about the 4 P's of public speaking, or the art of public speaking, as I choose to call it. Why I feel it is so valuable is because whether we are speaking to a group of people or we choose to speak to just one person, it is public speaking, because ultimately we are doing it at home, we're doing it outside. We might be speaking socially at a club, or we might be doing it professionally in our lives, like ma'am just mentioned, to be able to do it professionally for a presentation. So we need to be skilled or upskilled if you're already good at it, and that will always enhance our lives in a better way. You will be able to succeed much better in life for your future. So without further ado, let me be able to share my presentation with all of you. Just allow me a moment. And of course, today's session is about the 4 P's, or the art of public speaking. Public speaking is actually the number one fear in the world, and it is second to only the fear of death itself. So this has actually been a study which has been conducted by a lot of researchers around the world. And when they did this research, they found out that most people feared public speaking more than anything else. So there is actually a joke. So if you were in the western part of the world, say in countries like US, UK, where people give speeches when people pass away, then you would rather be the one who has passed away than be the one who has to give that speech in front of so many people. So that is how much people fear speaking in public. But personally speaking, I feel that it is an essential skill which everybody should have, because otherwise you will always be hesitant to speak up, whether it is just to speak up for yourself in front of your boss, something as small as that. 75%, or let's say three-fourths of the entire world, and it's not just in India here, in the entire world, people have a fear of speaking out, and not just speaking out in public, but even speaking out in a small group of people, or just speaking out their own opinions as well. All of us keep hesitating and thinking, अरे हमने क्या बोला, अगर बोला तो ठीक बोला, सही बोला या नहीं बोला. So we need to kind of get over that hesitation, and let's see what are certain ways or certain tools that we have which will help us get over that fear. So glossophobia is the name of that term, which is the fear of public speaking. These are certain benefits of having the skill of public speaking, which will enhance or benefit all of us who can master this skill. Of course, career advancement, it goes without saying that if we have this skill, we will definitely be able to advance in our careers much further. Like we mentioned previously, presentations are one thing which not a lot of us are good at, but it is an essential skill to be able to master it well. Not just technically to be able to make a good presentation, but also to be able to speak confidently and clearly in front of a lot of people. Boosts confidence, obviously, once you know that you are able to do it well, and speak clearly, speak your mind well, make a good presentation, your confidence will know no bounds. Personal development, obviously, again, once you are able to do it well, it is a skill that will add to your personality and you will definitely benefit from it. It improves communication skills, because you are going to be a good orator. You will definitely also need to look up the dictionary once in a while and be able to add to your vocabulary. So it will certainly enhance your communication skills. It will improve critical thinking. Why? I say this because there will be times when you are presenting either a presentation or you will be in front of a group of people, maybe an audience on a podium or a stage, when people will question you about certain things and you are not prepared for those questions, and that will help you think on your feet. So when you are thinking on your feet and you're not prepared for a certain question, it'll help you improve your critical thinking skills as well. Builds leadership skills, obviously, because if you see all around the world, the people who are the greatest leaders, say Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, even our Mr. Modi, they all have great public speaking skills. Helps you develop better vocabulary. I have just spoken about that in communication skills. So we all know how it will help us do that. Learn performance skills, because to be able to speak well, all of us have to be able to perform well. Um, have you ever seen a world leader maybe make a good speech, or perhaps even attend a stand up comedy show? All of these people need to be able to perform well, as a priority, because otherwise the performance or the speech will just fall flat. So you need to be a good performer as well. And of course, conquer man's greatest known fear. We've just spoken about that. And Once you are a good speaker and you have the ability to speak well at public events, people will reach out to you because you will have that magnetic personality, the charisma, the confidence, and when you are able to do that, you will automatically make new social connections. And we all know the importance of a good PR and a good network to be able to succeed in life nowadays. So, those are certain benefits of public speaking. And let's move on. So, now that we know what are the benefits, why is it called the art of public speaking? Of course, we all know that everybody is fearful of it, and we have been taught right from school, think before you speak, right? A lot of times we will just automatically react to what someone has told us. So, why is it called the art of public speaking? It is called the art of public speaking because to be a good speaker, you need a lot of skills coming together. So you need oratory skills, which is just another term for being able to speak well, not monotonous. What is the difference between our two leaders, Mr. Manmohan Singh, of course, who was a great prime minister as well, and Mr. Narendra Modi, of course, who is a good prime minister as well, is the difference between their oratory skills. Mr. Manmohan Singh, even though he made a lot of sense, when he spoke, it was in such a monotonous tone that people would fall asleep probably after 15-20 minutes. Whereas Mr. Modi can hold the attention of the public for a much longer time. So that is oratory skills for all of you. Appearance, including halo effect. So, our physical appearance also, when we are presenting or maybe having a public speech, is absolutely important. Imagine today if I were addressing all of you and I did not put in any effort. I just came without grooming myself, not even brushing my hair, came in a crushed shirt without ironing it. It had some dirty stains. Would you want to sit here for 1 hour to even waste your time? You would probably think, this lady has absolutely no knowledge of what she's talking about. And why should I be here wasting my time even listening to her? So, appearance, including halo effect, means that if somebody is looking good, is well dressed, well groomed, you automatically feel that they are able to do that good work in other areas of their life as well. So, if they look well groomed, then they will be well organized in other departments of their life, such as their profession, their career, and so on. So, that is the importance of appearance. Moving on to body language, and body language is my favorite subject because it's very close to my heart. And body language is something, we communicate with non-verbally. So we speak verbally, and those are the words that come out of our mouth. But body language is something that we communicate through non-verbally, and it is through our eye contact, through our facial expressions, such as our smile, and even our posture, how we sit, how we stand. It could also be, gestures, how we use our hands ultimately to, communicate with our hands. So sometimes if we want to say bye, we can just do like this. So that again is body language. Kinesics again is body language, how we use space around us. Then delivery again, how we deliver the speech is your delivery, your vocal skills. And content, finally, what is the content of our presentation? Um, is it important? Is it relevant to the subject that we have chosen? So today I might have chosen 4 P's of public speaking, or the art of public speaking. But if my content in the presentation is not relevant, all of you will probably lose interest after a while. So your content is absolutely important and critical as well. So when we communicate, only 7% of the meaning in our words is delivered from the actual words we speak. So this is actually um, the theory by Albert Mehrabian. He's a very famous psychologist who is still alive and kicking somewhere in California, must be in his 90s now. So he made this entire theory called the Albert Mehrabian theory. And he says when we are communicating, only 7% importance comes from our words. 38% comes from our tonality or the vocal content, you know, not just from our words, it is from our tone, our pitch, our volume, and our pace. And I will just explain that. So, our tone is maybe, we don't need to be facing each other. Sometimes when we just pick up the phone and speak to our family member, um, when the other person on the phone is angry and says, "Hello," we can all understand that that person is angry. Or sometimes when our mother is home and has missed us, for a long time, and you call her after a long time and you pick up the phone and says she's so happy to hear you, we can hear the joy in her voice. So that is the tone of voice. Our pace, of course, is how fast or how slow we speak. So, for example, most people will tend to speak at about 100 to 120 words per minute. And some people who speak very fast will maybe even speak 150 words per minute. But if you speak very fast, it shows that maybe you are nervous at times. And the other person will not be able to understand you. So if I were to speak very fast, maybe you will not be able to understand me. So that is the difference that your pace will portray. Our volume, we all understand, is somebody who speaks very soft or somebody who speaks very, very loudly. So that is our volume. And finally, our pitch. Our pitch is, some people have a very nasal toned voice, so they will speak from their nose. So Himesh Reshamia comes to mind. He is somebody who sings his songs with a very nasal pitch. Whereas Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, he has a very heavy, deep voice, and he speaks in a very baritone, pitch, which comes more from his stomach. So that is your pitch. So that also makes a lot of difference. Coming on to the next point, we should speak clearly, loudly, and at a pace that is neither too fast nor too slow. Why? Because the other person who's listening to us should be able to understand. I just mentioned if we speak too fast, the person thinks that they are nervous. So that is something we should avoid doing. A huge 55%, because we spoke 7% importance comes from the words we speak. A huge 55% is derived from our body language, which I just mentioned is our gestures, what we do with our hands, our posture, our body position, and our facial expressions, such as our smile, our eye contact, and how we use space. So, space is, if we are probably giving a presentation or a speech on a podium, if you are just stuck in one place, it looks very awkward. If you have a larger space, it always makes sense to be walking a little back and forth so that it shows that you're comfortable in the space that you have around you. So that is the importance of using the space around yourself. So certain body language tips to appear more poised, calm, and confident. Make eye contact with the audience, whether it is a small group, maybe in a presentation at your workplace or future workplace, or it is a big group of people. Maybe you are making a speech, standing on a podium or a stage. So, how do we do that? So, if it is a small group of people, obviously you will be knowing them one to one and you would be able to make eye contact with them. But what if it's a larger group of people, say in a auditorium, for example? Then in that case, what you need to do is you need to move your eye from one corner of the room, then maybe in the center to the other group of people, and then to the other corner of the room from turn to turn. So maybe for a few seconds here, then few seconds here, and then few seconds here, so that nobody feels left out. Everybody feels like they are a part of the conversation. So you could do that. Then we use gestures to emphasize certain points. So, you know, um, so I could say, I had a very small idea, and that makes sense. So if I were to say, I had a very small idea, does that make sense? Probably not. So we can use our hands to emphasize certain points that we are trying to make. But having said that, don't move your hands around too fast because that makes you look again very nervous and very distracting. So if I'm speaking to you right now and I do this with my hands all the time, you know, would you be able to focus on what I am saying? It'll be very difficult. Then probably you would be thinking, should I concentrate on what she is saying or should I focus on where her hands are moving? Again, if any of you like to watch TED Talks or world leaders give speeches, or even nowadays there is so much happening on TV. We all watch the news, in relation to what is happening in Ukraine. You will see most news readers also will use their hands to some extent, but they will do it in a very slow, controlled motion. So they'll do gestures like this. They will, cross their fingers like this. So it'll be slow and controlled. Our hands should never go above the shoulder level. So anywhere, as far as our hands are here and, at our waist level, it's always good. Anywhere above that is a little too distracting and not very positive body language. The posture should stay straight and relaxed, and that looks alert. So when I am speaking to you like this, it looks professional, like I'm interested, I'm alert, I'm awake. If I were to talk to you like this, slouched, looking around, not making eye contact, probably whiling away time, seeing if I've missed any calls while I'm doing this presentation, it does not look very positive, very professional, like I'm interested in doing what I'm doing. So one should avoid doing all of that. No crossing of arms and legs. So again, when you do this, when you're even talking to your friends or family at your future workplace, avoid crossing your arms and your legs because it communicates that you are a very closed and defensive person, right? So even in your future presentations or any speeches that you give in the future, this comes across as very negative body language. So avoid doing all of this until, of course, it's very cold. And then, of course, you need to do this, then it's absolutely fine. Open palms convey trustworthiness. So the more palms we tend to show people, the more they tend to trust us. And this stems from, ancient days where we would meet strangers and, we did not have pants or trousers which had pockets. And, people could conceal weapons in the pockets. We did not have those. So strangers would probably conceal or hide weapons in their hands, and then they would hide their hands behind their back. So So that is where it comes from. So the more you show your hands, the more people trust you. No pointing fingers. And this is something we've all been taught straight from our school days, that one should not be pointing fingers. Even if somebody will ask you where to go, what to do, you always show it with an open palm. Or when you have a presentation as well, instead of pointing with your finger, it's better to have a pointer or a marker in your hand and point the board or your presentation with the marker or the pointer. Smile to make the audience comfortable and to bond with them. So, time to time, again, make eye contact, smile, because a smile is an instant way to create a bond with your audience and to make them feel comfortable. Be congenial, be interested. Don't stand in one place, keep moving around. I've already mentioned that. Don't touch any part of your hair, your neck, or your face, because that, again, according to body language experts, is implying the fact that you're lying. No tapping of feet, or some people will keep doing that during a presentation. You might have seen clicking the pen. um, this again implies that you have too much restless energy inside you and that you might be nervous, stressed, or anxious. So these are certain things that we should avoid doing. And we finally come to that part of the presentation, which I'm pretty certain that all of you were looking forward to. And this is the 4 P's of a great speech or a presentation. And these are plan, prepare, practice, and present. So the first one being plan. So what all do we need to plan when we are planning our speech or our presentation? So you need to plan first the outline of either your speech or your presentation, of course. And this is just a rough outline as to what do you think you want in there, what will be your content, right? General guideline, because if you will just start off, you will have to scratch out and redo it several times over. So it's always best to jot down your ideas, get a rough draft in first, and then start. It's always best if, and this is the venue, even if it's your workplace, what is going to be the venue of your either your speech or your presentation. And this, of course, will also depend on a lot of things such as the strength of your audience, how many people will be there, what is your budget, where do you stay or where is your office. A lot of factors need to be considered. Demographic of the audience. So if you were to write a speech, then you would even have to think about what is going to be the age of the audience, right? And a lot of factors need to be thought about before you start preparing. Handouts, activities, and breaks. So this is obviously not meant for your presentation. Maybe it could be if it's a half day or maybe a full day. You need to keep the audience engaged because a lot of people nowadays have a very short interest span. So if there are any activities that you have planned for them, such as icebreakers, if there are any handouts, any quizzes that you have planned for them, how have you planned it? How many? Um, what have you planned? Are you going to give them a printout for anything? All that needs to be organized and planned at this stage. If you have like a half day workshop, a 4-hour workshop, then you even need to plan how many breaks are you going to give them. Maybe 2 tea breaks of 15 minutes each and a lunch break in between, of half an hour each. At what time will you give it to them? So all this needs to be planned at this point in time. Then comes your second P, which is your prepare. And at this stage, we are going to finally prepare the final draft of our content depending upon our previous rough draft. So here we are going to do it. And here the most important thing is to think about what is our purpose, and we are going to draft it according to our purpose. So the purpose could be manifold. We need to figure out, is it to inform the audience or the people? Are we doing it to inform our colleagues or peers about maybe an event that is going to take place in the future? Right? It could be anything. Maybe, for instance, if you were doing this Women's Day thing, maybe your um, people at the university thought that they will call you for 15 minutes to inform you that something like this is going to happen. So it could be anything. It could be to persuade, which just means that it could be to change your mind about a certain situation or event, right? To persuade you to do certain things. And a lot of these political rallies are about that, right? Or a presentation at your workplace could also be to persuade your seniors or your bosses to do something your way, which you feel is right. So that could also be a motive. Then it could be to educate, right? It could be to educate, could be about anything really. So today I am here to educate all of you what goes behind making a good presentation or a speech. So it could be something as simple as that. It could be to motivate. A lot of political speeches are also meant to motivate people, or a lot of speeches at workplaces are to motivate their people or the employees, to motivate them to work better, to work as a team. So it could be something such as that. Or lastly, something even lighter to entertain. So a lot of stand up comics will do something or write a speech to even entertain. Their whole routine is about entertaining people. But when we are preparing our purpose, we need to keep in mind that the most important thing is always show up to give to the audience, not to take, right? We are not the hero or the centerpiece of that plan. We are somebody who are there to focus on the audience and to give them what they are there for, right? So the audience will always think, what is in it there for me? So I don't know if any of you have heard, or if all of you are aware that there is this WIFM, which is known as what is in it for me. So you need to be the one who answers that question for the audience. So all this needs to be prepared well ahead of time. And finally, we need to time our content also. So today, if it was a 1 hour webinar, I was given certain guidelines that, okay, there will be a 5 minute whatever, there will be a 10-minute introduction. Your content needs to be for a certain amount of time. So you need to be the one who will carefully prepare content in such a way that you are able to deliver it well within time, so that there is time for other things as well. So that is what we mean by prepare. So this is what is going to happen in this second stage of P, which is prepare. So the first stage was plan, where we're planning all the other things. And this is the second P, which is our prepare. Let us see what will happen at our third stage of P, which is practice. And here we will all practice, practice, practice till we are perfect and beyond. So here is where I tell people that you practice your content upside down, inside out, backwards, downwards, whichever way you know. And the best way to do it, and a lot of us are very uncomfortable with even the sound of our voice. So the best way to do it is either start with practicing in front of the mirror. So, and most of us are even uncomfortable doing that initially. So, start with doing that. See how you speak first. What are the expressions that you make? Because believe you me, you will be very uncomfortable looking at yourself when you're speaking. So you need to be comfortable with yourself first before you will be able to reach that level of self actualization and confidence. So start with speaking in front of a mirror. Get comfortable with looking at yourself. See what expressions you're making. Are you looking comfortable? Are you able to give the right amount of eye contact? Are you able to look comfortable and smile at the audience as well? So, and are you doing awkward things as, such as raising your eyebrows? Are you, are your shoulders relaxed and down? Are you able to move your hands comfortably while you're speaking? So, a lot of that needs to go. And once you're comfortable looking at yourself and you feel that your expressions and body language is okay, then my second tip to you here would be to record yourself while you're doing it. This way, once your visual side is okay, you will be able to focus on your audio side as well. How you sound, you know, are you sounding monotonous? Are you able to um, keep the interest of the other person? If you're not able to keep yourself interested, there is no way, and I can guarantee you this, no way that the other person will want to listen to you. So you need to figure it out by recording yourself. Are you able to deliver the speech well? Are you sounding confident? Is your voice shaking? Because when we are nervous, sometimes our voice also tends to quiver. So I remember started out my career a little while back also by I was a part of this venture called Sipping Thoughts, and it is, of course, still there, but I don't get too much time to do it. And it was like a chat show aimed at women. And I wasn't very comfortable with the camera, and I wasn't very comfortable speaking out. But we decided to do this, and it was, of course, work in progress. And I remember once we had finished recording a small little chat show for about 4 5 minutes, one of the fellows from the technical team, came running and he says, "Tina, ma'am, Tina, ma'am." And I was like, "Okay, what happened?" You know. So he says, "Ma'am, we'll have to re-record it." So I said, "Kya ho gaya?" So he says, "Ma'am," and we used to wear these, collar mics here. So my entire life, I was very comfortable in front of the camera in the sense that still modeling is what I did. I never really had to speak out in front of the camera till then. So because of the camera or the collar mic being here, he says, "आपकी ना heartbeat सुनाई दे रही है," because I was so nervous that my heart was beating so loud that they could hear it. So these are certain things which none of us preempt. But of course, these are things that we should be able to record ourselves and figure out how we're sounding to the other person. So these are certain tips I wanted to share with you, that please record yourself so that you can see what you're looking like and you can even hear what you're sounding like. And don't read from a screen. Of course, I know that all of you must be thinking that, of course, she's reading from a screen, but these are just bullet points, right? This is just like a pointer or a guidance so that you don't fumble or make mistakes. And this is a short presentation. Usually, when I take full day workshops for corporate houses such as Indigo Airways, which I'm training for currently, you don't even know, you don't even need this, right? It's normally you're so used to doing these that you don't need it, because what happens is if you're reading completely from a screen, then the audience gets bored. They're like, what is this? Why do we need the person there when we can read it ourselves, right? So which is why we say memorize it, but just have bullet points there so that you don't fumble, or in case you forget, something is there as a guidance for you. If it's a PowerPoint presentation, keep the slides brief and only use them as a visual aid, which is what I just mentioned. And last, but definitely not the least, present is our fourth P. We have planned, ladies and gentlemen, we have prepared ourselves so well, immaculately. We have timed ourselves. We have done everything possible. We have practiced it. We have memorized it. We have possibly, recorded ourselves plenty of times over to ensure nothing goes wrong. And when it is that time of the day, when it is time to present our presentation or maybe give a speech, then I would say enjoy the showtime, right? We have done enough. We have spent enough time and energy. Bask in the glory or the attention. And remember the 738-55 rule of communication, or the Albert Mehrabian rule. It's the same thing, that only 7% importance in what we are communicating comes from the actual words we speak. Okay. 38% comes from our volume, tone, pitch, and um, I'm forgetting one, but I've explained it to you, which is basically our tonality. And 55% comes from our body language, which is eye contact, a smile to make people comfortable, our posture so that people know that you're alert, aware, and professional, and also how you make use of the space around you, how you use your gestures to be able to make your point. And last few reminders, ladies and gentlemen, is of course you arrive early at the venue, be it your workplace or any other place. Why I say arrive early is, when we are stressed and running late, usually whatever has to go wrong, it's Murphy's law, it will always go wrong. um, चाबियां नहीं मिलेंगी, गाड़ी नहीं खुलेगी, घर लॉक नहीं होगा, all kinds of things will go wrong. And when we are already in that stressful mode, we will get more stressed. And then we will tend to forget our presentation, our speech, whatever it is that we forget, because mind is under pressure. So my suggestion is always arrive at least 15-20 minutes before time at the venue, be it at your workplace. Obviously, workplace, you will have to be there early. But if it's some other venue, but it makes sense to arrive early, make yourself comfortable in that place to see that, is the room nice enough? Is the lighting good enough? Do I have the right equipment for my presentation or the speech? Say hello to the organizers or the people there, right? Do the needful, see where is the washroom, are the snacks organized, is everything done? So, be mindful, be careful of all these things. And finally, when you are giving the presentation or making that speech, talk with your audience, right? Always talk to them, never talk at them, right? There's a difference. So always engage with them as if you are one of them, not superior to them or senior to them. Nobody likes that, right? Um, don't be a gyani, because gyani to sare hi hain. There is gyan at the drop of a hat, with Google Maharaj with us. So always be nice, always be one of them, engage with the audience, always try and make a conversation with them. It is definitely, I said that you need to be a performer to be a good orator or a presenter, but ultimately, it's not really a performance or a stage show or a movie that they've come to watch, or it's not a lecture. It should be more like a conversation. Of course, today I cannot have that with all of you because there are too many of you. And if I start having that conversation and interacting with all of you, the timing is something that I will not be able to manage and control. So please accept my apologies on that behalf. I wasn't able to do that. But yes, this is what I had to share with all of you. I have been able to do it in the stipulated amount of time, and I am open to questions as of now. I will stop sharing my slide now, and I'm okay to take questions. I hope this was valuable to all of you. Just allow me one moment. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. It was a very nice session and knowledgeable session.
Thank you so much. That is music to my ears.
Yes, but obviously, so time limit was there, so much not information was available for you to give.
Vaishali, I am not able to hear you properly. Your voice seems to be breaking. I'm so sorry about that.
Yes, ma'am. Now it's audible, ma'am.
Yes, yes, it is. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I was telling that yes, time constraint was there for
Yes,
us.
yes. Unfortunately.
Yes. Yes, madam.
But I hope that
So
in the
there are
short
one.
amount of time, Vaishali, that it did make sense, and it. I hope that there was some value to it. I'm okay taking whatever questions you have for me, Vaishali.
Yes, ma'am. So, according to you, madam, what is preferable when we meet someone for the first time? Either we should shake hands or hug or just say hello. What is more preferable according to you?
So, Vaishali, given the COVID situation these days, it is always best
Yes.
to say hello. But if COVID was not there, I would say it depends from situation to situation. Definitely not a hug if it is the first time. If it is a business situation, then you will say hello and shake hands. And if it is a social situation, then of course, even saying a hello and smiling is absolutely fine. But hugging is a definite no.
Yes. So I think it depends totally on situation in which we are meeting
Yes.
some person at the first time, right?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
So, which language, madam, is widely used during communication?
You mean business communication?
Yes, ma'am. Because sometimes it happens that some of them are not comfortable with English or Hindi, right? So, which is somewhat a language that is more common while communication.
So, Vaishali, again, there is no right or wrong in this. It just depends from your workplace or culture. If English is widely spoken, then I would say go with English. If you feel Hindi is widely spoken, then Hindi is absolutely fine. It See, India is such a vast country, Vaishali. There is no right or wrong answer here. So it depends from place to place. It would depend on your work culture, the place where you're working. So you have to go with whatever is right at your workplace. Am I audible, Vaishali?
Yes.
Okay. I think I lost you for a moment there.
Should we behave when we don't have an answer for the question that is asked next?
Unfortunately, Vaishali, I cannot hear you clearly at all.
Hello. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Vaishali.
How we should behave? Yes, how we should behave when we don't have any answer for the question that has been asked by an expert?
So, first, I would like to know, why is an expert asking you the question if you are not the expert? But if at all you ever find yourself in that situation, uh, probably if you are at a presentation with your boss and you feel that the boss or your senior is asking you some kind of a question, and you find yourself in a situation which is awkward, the best situation or the best answer would be, I am sorry, as of now, I feel that I do not have the appropriate or the right answer for that. Allow me some time. I will research it and I will get back to you. It is best not to pretend that you know the answer when you don't know the answer.
Question, Anna, for a student for an interview.
Hello,
Hello?
hello.
Yes. Yes. Yes,
Yes, yes,
Good afternoon, ma'am.
good afternoon.
Uh, मैम मुझे एक क्वेश्चन है. I have one question.
हाँ जी.
That is, what is more important in your aspect? That is tangible image or intangible image?
Japanti, right? Japanti, I don't
Yes.
understand the difference or the meaning of tangible and intangible image. थोड़ा आप इसको elaborate करोगे? What do you mean by tangible
Uh,
and intangible?
Tangible means one which one can see clearly, or
हम्म.
intangible means uh, as a कोई देख मतलब कोई देख नहीं सकता है.
नहीं, so जपंती, इमेज तो वही हुई जो दिखती है. तो आपका क्या मतलब जो नहीं दिखती है?
One second. Cloth and dressing sense, that is tangible. Uh,
Right.
and intangible means knowledge and
Okay, understood,
understanding.
understood.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you so much. So this is one question that people will ask me all the time because I'm an image consultant. So my answer to you here, Japanti, is, see, in a country as large as India, where we have millions of people as our competitors, okay? आप किसी भी जॉब इंटरव्यू में जाओगे, आपको बहुत सारा कंपटीशन मिलेगा. What is the way to stand out from that competition? Because आपकी intangible image, as you call it, आपका knowledge, आपकी skills, आपका experience, आपका education, तो उन सब लोगों के पास उतना ही है, तभी वो सेम इंटरव्यू के लिए गए हैं, उस सेम जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए गए हैं. So how will you ensure that you stand out from amongst that competition of so many people? Is with your tangible image, okay? With your image, which will be an image of a well groomed, good personality, well dressed person who has great communication skills, who is able to set themselves apart from the rest on the basis of your tangible image. ठीक है, समझ आ रहा है?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that is how, this is what will help you get that job and get you inside the door of that company. What will help you stay inside the door of that company and retain that job is your intangible image or your knowledge, your skills, your experience, your education. So dono equally important hai. I will not say one is more important than the other. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome.
Yes.
Any other questions? So either I did not make any sense or I made too much sense. बहुत easy था.
yes, ma'am. There is friend, ma'am. It is from one of our students. He is asking that which color of clothes should be most preferable while campus interview.
Yes, very good question. Thank you so much. So usually what is considered professional colors for your interviews are colors which are neutral in color, such as the darker colors. But personally speaking, the neutral colors are your blacks, your darker grays or charcoal grays, navy blues, dark browns, beiges, and your shirts can be the contrasting colors, which is your whites, your sky blues, your pale pinks, those kind of colors. But being an image consultant, we usually say कि आप black suit या black कपड़े ज़्यादा ना पहने, at least in the top half. आपका jacket black नहीं होना चाहिए, because of the simple reason that black is a color of high power and authority, of dominance. तो black सिर्फ जो आपको इंटरव्यू कर रहे हैं यूजुअली उन्हीं लोगों को पहनना चाहिए. सो जब आप ब्लैक पहन के जाते हैं तो उनका पावर या अथॉरिटी आप चैलेंज कर रहे हैं. तो अवॉइड वेयरिंग ब्लैक ऑन द टॉप हाफ ऑफ योर बॉडी. ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन वेयर ब्लैक ट्राउजर्स. So stick with the other neutral colors such as dark browns, navy blues, dark grays. Those are absolutely fine. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am. It was very nice knowledge that we got from you about the color selection.
Yes.
Yes. Any question from other faculties? Okay, done, ma'am. So I think we have ended with Q&A session. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I'm on Instagram as well. If anybody would like to DM me and ask me any other questions, I'm always available. I might take a little time because I'm working alongside, but I will certainly reply.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. We will tell to our students also to communicate with you directly. Yes, and thank you so much, ma'am, for giving your valuable time to our students as well as
Thank you so
faculties.
much.
This session will be surely fruitful to us.
Thank you so much for having me once again. It was an absolute pleasure to be amongst all of you and your students. And I enjoy doing these, so please reach out to me in the future as well.
Surely, ma'am, surely. I would like to thank the management of Parallel University for supporting and motivating us for conducting such webinars. Thank you, ma'am.
And I would like to thank Mr. Patel also for
Yes,
his patience
obviously.
and his time for reaching out to me and answering all my 100 queries very patiently.
He is very patient.
Yes, he is. So
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Patel.
Yes. Thank you,
And
ma'am.
I wish all of you a very, very good day ahead. Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care. Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye.